a major part of the creative process is your mental state. A lot of people don't think about it like that. Because like if you don't have if your insecurities can really mess you up when it comes to your creative work. Pretty much AKA you getting in your own way. Because I had to learn that in my business, as far as to like growing my company, I had to learn that I had to get out of my own way so I can really move forward.
Welcome to the Marketing for the Culture podcast, powered by the African American Marketing Association. Each week, we'll bring you an insightful conversation from some of the best experts in our industry on how to advance our career. Join the collective of Black marketers across the world, advancing their brand as we work towards creating a collaborative community.
And welcome to another edition of Marketing for the Culture. I'm your host and podcast producer, CL Palmer, aka CZ Pie Gang. Today, I have Tery Wilson, a filmmaker, award-winning editor. I mean, just all around camera maven. Right. That's just the best way I could put it. Tery, how you doing today? And welcome to the show.
I'm doing all right. How about yourself, man? And thank you for having me.
Oh, I appreciate you taking time out for me, because looking at your credits, I'm surprised that you do have time for me.
Man, I had to make time. Because when I checked out the information regarding the summit, I was like, this is something I definitely need to make time for.
I love to hear that. You know that, and I don't want to get too much into the conference. We did a whole lot talking about it on the other podcast, but
Gotcha.
This is definitely something where we tried to bring together a lot of people with a lot of different talent and let people get to know like who is out here like putting it together. Gotcha. You know, everybody knows what's going on. They know what they see on YouTube, on social media,
right.
But everybody ain't really plugged into how that stuff come together.
Man, tell me about it.
So that's when we first started talking about it, I had to reach out to you and suggest your name for the panel. So I cannot wait to hear you talk.
Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
So yeah, let's get into it. I guess let's let people get to know you a little bit, and then I start getting to the nitty gritty and start, throwing in my questions. I got some camera questions and things like that. I gotta know. But before we get to that, tell me a little bit about yourself, Tery. Tell me, I guess, what is the way that you define yourself when you walk in the room?
The way I define myself when I walk in the room. There you go with the tough questions. You didn't send me a copy of these. You wrong for that.
Look, I just came up with that question.
I need you to find your notes.
Look, okay, let me ask to you like this.
You good? Nah, you good. Don't answer. I just had to mess with you a little bit.
All right. You good.
Ask me the question again.
So how do you define yourself when you walk into a room? People ask, like, who is Tery Wilson?
Tery Wilson is a very assertive woman. She knows what she wants. She's very knowledgeable, and she's self-taught. So when I walk into a room, I'm me. Pretty much. I'm myself. You're going to get my authentic self. No sugarcoat, no none of that. You're going to get 100% Tery Wilson.
Okay. And you say you self-taught. So I guess I feel the audience in. So do you call yourself a filmmaker, videographer? How do you do? What is your official title?
Well, for one, don't you ever call me a videographer. We gonna fight.
I knew that was gonna get a rise out you.
Man,
I had to mess with you. I had to mess with you back.
Don't play with me. Let me find my water and take a sip off of that one. Hold that thought. All right, there we go. I'm back in business.
All right, let's do it.
I'm a cinematographer, or some may call me. Well, I mostly go by DP. But I'm.
What does that stand for?
Director of photography.
Okay.
So pretty much controls the image that you see in film and television stuff, things like that. I'm also a producer. I've actually been doing that a lot more lately since I own my own production and post-production company. I'm also an editor. So I do a lot of that. I've been doing a lot of that lately. What else do I do? That's pretty much it. Producer, DP, editor. That's pretty much like my main stuff.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about your companies, Intrigue Graphics.
Yes, Intrigue Graphics Media. We pretty much specialize in all things production, post-production, and we also have an art department that my wife runs. So yeah.
Okay, so y'all got a family business.
I'm trying to tell you. I'm talking
Hey,
about
I like that.
we take care of everything, especially regarding your image. We take care of your post-production, we take care of your camera department, and we take care of your art department, which is literally an essential part of your composition as a DP.
Okay, so basically they can come to Intrigue Graphics and just get all the way together.
Your one-stop shop.
I like that. So tell me, you say you were self-taught, and I guess from my perspective, I'm somebody who's self-taught. Like I didn't go to school to do audio engineering or any of that other stuff. It's just stuff that just fall in to your lap.
Right.
Now, tell me how did you figure out that that's the route that you wanted to go?
For me, I've always loved cameras. So I was always like, when I was young, I didn't know I was in front of the camera as much until I started going through my grandmother's photo album of me. And I noticed how much, like every time somebody put up a camera, it's a picture of me posing or doing something or playing around with the camera. So as I got older, I pretty much fell in love with that. And I'm also like a techie. So I started like buying cameras, or my mom would give me a camera here and there. And I just started playing around with it. And the more and more I started playing around with it, the more and more I wanted to do photography. So I taught myself photography just by watching others and, watching a lot of YouTube videos, YouTube University. So, watching a lot of things and just finding out how to use my camera, just reading my manuals from inside and out, just making sure I knew every function of any camera that I had, because I wanted to make sure I knew how to use it properly. Because like I said, I'm self-taught. And when you're self-taught, you have to work like 10 times harder as the regular person, in my opinion. So just playing around with the camera and started taking pictures. From that, I started ending up playing with video when they started putting video in cameras. I started doing that more, and I ended up learning how to edit my own videos. Once I started editing my own videos, I was editing my own photographs. Then I went to editing my own videos. When I started doing that, I found out, somebody told me about Final Cut Pro and Premiere Pro, because I didn't know about any of that software, because I was editing in Windows Movie Maker.
Oh, wow.
I was using that all day, filming skits and filming, because my little brother, he's an artist. He's a musician. So like I was always filming him and his friends doing their music stuff, and they was like real funny all the time. So I used to record them doing skits, and I started putting this stuff together, and I'm like, I could really do something with this. Then one day I just came up with an idea, and that's how that movie back there, that big poster behind me, came about, Standpoint. So by me like coming up with that idea, working with a writer and all of that, I ended up just falling into filmmaking, and it's been on ever since. And that was in 2011.
Yo, that's crazy. So you was just out here just playing around, kicking it with your folks.
Yep.
And you was like, you know what? This might be good enough to get a script. And man, you got me fascinated. It's like, how did you come across that part right there when you felt like Standpoint was good enough, or the content was good enough that you could go to somebody to write for it?
But see, that's the crazy part. And it's funny that you asked me that. I didn't think about any of that. All really? I knew, I came up with an idea, and it was me and my brother. Me and my brother came up with this idea, and we spoke the idea into our phone. We were just recording ourselves. And I was like, you know what? I know a writer. Let me reach out to him. So I hit up Steven. I was like, Steven, can you write this script for me? I was like, I don't want no more than 5 characters, and I don't want no more than 3 locations. Man, Steven sent me that script back in like 2 days. I was like, yeah, we gonna shoot this. I was like, yeah, we gonna shoot this. Because I just literally, like, we just sent him an audio recording, and he transcribed my audio recording in the script format, and he wrote me an entire series and built my world for me. So that's pretty much like how my relationship is with writers. Like, I'll send you an idea, and I'll give you the limitations as far as the characters and the locations, and I'll let the writer go from there. But now I'm at a point where I know storytelling a little bit more now, because like I said, remember, I'm self-taught, so I have to work like 10 times as hard as the regular person who's already probably a screenwriter, because I am not a screenwriter at all. So now I come up with more elements of that story and I pass those off to a writer, and that's how I get my content created now.
I got you. Yeah, that's one of them things when you are self-teaching yourself how to do something, it usually takes a while before you get the like big parts. It's like, oh yeah, I actually needed this in the first place.
Because you don't really know, like, as far as that person that's in film school, and I don't knock film school at all. Everybody just has a different path, because my journey was just different. You know what I mean? When you go to film school, you get caught up in the technical. And for me, I feel like some of those students really lose the love and the joy of just getting out there and being spontaneous and just creating something and not thinking about, I need about 20, 30 people on set with me to make this happen. No, hell you don't. Oh, my bad. Can I curse?
You good. You good. It's not a PG podcast.
But, some people get caught up in all of that. And I'm like, just create. Everything else just falls into place.
Right. And I be trying to get out my own way when I start doing some of that stuff.
Man, you better preach on it, because I ain't gonna tell you how many times I had to get out my own way. So I feel you on that.
It's because like once you get to a certain point where you're trying to be creative,
yeah,
you look for not so much perfection, but you look for that actualized idea.
Yeah.
And when it's not quite right, you will start beating it until it get right. And
yeah,
it'll definitely slow your process up, but I don't know. I can't tell if that's supposed to be part of the creative process or if that's just
it's a part of the creative process, because a major part of the creative process is your mental state. A lot of people don't think about it like that. Because like if you don't have if your insecurities can really mess you up when it comes to your creative work. Pretty much AKA you getting in your own way. Because I had to learn that in my business, as far as to like growing my company, I had to learn that I had to get out of my own way so I can really move forward to get to that next level that I keep putting out there trying to manifest. I can't get there if I'm standing in my own way, if I don't have my mind right, if I'm not right spiritually, you know what I mean? So yeah, that getting in your own way is it can be a real big issue when it comes to your creativity. And especially because if you're in a negative space, how can you create when you're in a negative space if you don't have your mind clear? So, like, you thinking about your outside life, what you got going on at home, what you got going on at work, what you got going on with the kids, and it's hard for you to clear your mind. But if you learn how to recenter all of that and think positive and really work through your stress and your troubles, you start to realize that your creativity flows a whole lot better. Does that make sense?
Preach to the choir, Hey, I ain't gonna lie. See, my girl don't listen to this podcast, so she ain't gonna hear this, but I tried to explain that to her, but it just didn't quite get through. And I'm starting to feel like, well, maybe this might just be one of those things that creatives can really digest. Because, like, I don't mind having a conversation, but it's like, let's not talk about that right now while I'm in the flow.
Right.
Because if I get out of the flow, I'm going to have to rev back up. And that's just going to take a while.
Yeah, and it's like messing with your tunnel vision, and you like, breaking my flow. I mean, I actually went through that with my wife, so I totally get it. But with us, the difference is we now work together, and we don't, you know what I mean? So when it comes to that, it's pretty much a process of you guys being more understanding with one another. You know what I mean? Like, communication is key. So like that, man, because I mean, we came a long way, a lot of, spirituality and trial and error, a lot of, trials and tribulations or whatever. But now we're in a space where we're honest with one another, and we know how to separate our personal and our business from one another now. Because, it's hard for creatives to be in a relationship and do this. You know what I mean? Like, man, if they not in the same industry as you, it's like, what in the hell have I done got my damn self into? How am I going to get this person to understand this and that, this and that? Stop trying to force it and communicate with that person. Trust me, everything else falls into place. Happy wife, happy life. That shit is true.
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try again.
No, ain't no try. Just do it.
Just do
It's
it.
really
Okay,
not as hard
I
as
got
you
you.
think it. And no, like seriously, because it's really not as hard as you think it is. Because, like I said, that falls in the category of getting out your own way.
Okay, you right on that. When you right, you right.
I just came through it, so I know. Like, man, trim me, I know. My girl will tell you that all day, boy.
So yeah, that's a message for all you creatives out there. Just get out your own way in every facet of your life.
Man, for real.
But Terry, I want to switch gears a little bit, but
right,
before I do, like, are you from Atlanta?
I'm from Atlanta, Greater Baby, all day. I'm from Perry Home.
Okay, so you right here in the city. Actually seen your work out here, and I guess this would be a good time to bring this up, but you probably don't remember meeting me, but I actually met you in person.
Okay.
And I was definitely in the hood.
Okay.
And you was buying a cell phone. It was.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure it was. Now I should have set this up. I should have said we met on Craigslist. Because that would have been funnier. I missed that.
I actually used to advertise my business on Craigslist because I had a mobile IT business.
Okay, yeah, man, don't nobody know. Like, Craigslist used to be popping when they ain't put the clamps down on it. But
yeah, it really did, because I made good money on Craigslist. You hear me?
Absolutely, because it was a lot going on. But specifically, I think I had either sold you one of my phones, and man, I don't even know how we got into the conversation, but I think I might have told you about my podcast. And you told me, it was like, you did some camera work, and I was like, okay, that's cool. End up just following you on Facebook. You know how Facebook, oh, you know this person? I was like, yeah, I just met that person. Didn't think nothing of it. Fast forward like 5, 6, 7 years later, I'm just like, here we are. I'm like, oh, I was like, I didn't go as far as she went, but I'm glad I met her, because now I know that this is possible.
Aww,
because
that's what's up.
I definitely, when I say like, I must have been in your neighborhood, it's like I know where you come from.
Mm-hmm.
And I see what you've done. So just take a minute right here to say I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate that.
And just let everybody know, sometimes Craigslist encounters do end positively.
Yeah, they do.
So I just wanted to put that out there. But I do want to talk about your work though.
Okay.
Because you worked with some brands. Like, I see Publix up here. You did some stuff with BET. You have, like, you edited some pilots. Like, I seen Power Rangers on there. I was like, what? Let my kids know that I got somebody working on some Power Ranger stuff on the line. They gonna have some questions.
I'm trying to tell you, they gonna have a boatload. Like, hold on, Daddy, you know Zach said he work on Power Rangers. Yup.
Yeah, I'm like, even down to Vice, I'm like, just a lot of different experiences. So I guess, what is there any particular experience where you felt yourself, I guess, either learn a little bit more about yourself, or you could feel like, okay, I've actually developed into this next level, and I can see it and feel it now?
That would be the BET movie. That was my first feature that I shot on a big level. Back to the Good Life, starring Kyla Pratt. That movie, working on that project, really taught me a lot. It really did. It taught me a lot about myself. It taught me a lot about myself. Like, it really taught me a lot about me. Like, seriously, like, I can't tell you the kind of anxiety I had before I booked that. Like, it was crazy. I was like, what the hell I got myself into? I done booked this movie. I was just thinking about all of my flaws, and I'm like, I just ended up coming to the conclusion. I was just like, you know what, fuck it. These folk chose me. You know what you're doing. Get out your own way. Show these folk what you can do. Simple as that. Oh. Show these folk what you can do with a budget. You've been asking for it. You finally got a project that you got a real budget for. Go ahead and turn up on these folk. Let these folk know what you can do. And that's exactly what I did.
Hey, I love it. I love all that Atlanta in your mouth too. That's how you let them know.
That like, shit ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean?
But that's a big look though. You know, like to get the call up from BET, and I could imagine, because like you said, it's probably the biggest thing you had did up until that point.
Right.
And I was actually talking to one of the other panelists, Tina Bonner, from Black and Meta, and she was saying like that's almost like her favorite thing is to just go into the unknown. Like,
oh yeah,
you know, like she like relishes in the moment, but it's like the reality sets in. It's like you have never done this before. And at some point, you're going to have to deal with it and then say, okay, what do I know how to do? And what do I don't know how to do? And how do I close that gap right now or as fast as possible?
Right.
So, man, that is very relatable. I guess, like, kind of tell me how that came together.
As far as the BET project, I actually got a call from a person I knew for a long time. Her name is Teresa Dow Vest. I actually did BTS photography for her feature maybe 7 or 8 years prior. No, I did that in like 2013, 2014. I did BTS photography for her movie. And I had just started out filmmaking. You know what I mean? So, like I said, at that time, I was like really just crossed over from photography to videography. And she let me do BTS for a movie. So I did some stuff on that. And when I did that, she remembered me. She followed my work ever since then. Called me and told me about this lady who was looking for a Black female DP in Atlanta. And just so happened when she brought my name up, the director was already researching Black female DPs in Atlanta, and my name was the first name that came up. So it was a coincidence that her friend told her about me. She found me online, and that's how that came about.
Owning that SEO over there.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, man, I don't be playing about my SEO. Because I do web design as well. I built my, I built my website. So, I
saw that.
Yeah, I don't play around. I do not play around.
And that's what I'm talking about. See, that you gotta be creative, but you gotta be technically sound on all the levels. You never know when it might really matter.
And I'm self-taught in everything, so you already know.
Man, I love that. That is dope.
Appreciate that.
On a couple different levels. For one, like you said, they even the fact that they were looking for a Black female DP, like specifically, it's like I like to hear that. It's like, okay, so we really trying to get into the weeds of who can help tell these stories the best,
right,
and get every single level taken care of,
right.
So I actually have not watched that, but because you did it, I'm definitely gonna watch it now.
Hey, like dead serious. It's hilarious. Colin Pratt did a thing in it. Like it's funny. Elle Varner is in it. I forgot the guy from I forgot his name. He is funny as hell. You'll just have to see it.
I'm gonna watch it now because I'm not the biggest BET person.
Gotcha.
I say that 100%. So it's probably why I haven't watched it yet. But
I will make. I'm not big on a lot of different networks. I just have certain shows and films that I watch, and I know what platform to go to watch them. So I feel you on
that. I'm like, I got a homegirl who's been doing some stuff on BET Plus. I still haven't checked it out, but now I'm like,
I'm gonna check out her work because you got to show your support. So don't do that.
I know. I was like, there's another side to that, but I'm gonna keep that one off record.
You so bad. So when you finally do get on BET Plus and check out your friend's stuff, definitely check out Back to the Good Life starring Colin Pratt, and check out my other movie I have on there called Haunted Trail. I helped produce that one.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and cash in my free trial ticket and check that all out in a week.
Hey, I get it. I get it.
Oh man, the struggle is real out here. I
I'm
ain't
trying
gonna
to
lie to
tell
you.
you. I'm trying to tell you, bro.
But now there is one piece of content that I did check out from your IMDb,
Okay.
and that was a film starring Desi Banks. It was the him was oh my gosh. See, I ain't got my notes. That was the Valentine's.
Oh, you talking about Pretty V's Valentine? I'm gonna say because
Yes.
Desi is also in Haunted Trail.
Okay, yeah, I did see him in that. So yeah, I was talking about the Valentine joint.
Oh yeah, that's Pretty V's Valentine. That was so funny.
That was that one actually caught me off guard because like none of the like upfront jokes made me laugh,
Mm-hmm.
but it was just kind of like the by the way jokes that really got me.
I got you.
That was like it was like oh, because like if you weren't paying attention, you missed it.
Yeah.
But that the writing on that one was pretty tight.
Yeah, he did his thing on that. My wife directed that.
Oh, really? So, all right, let me go ahead and tell me about that experience right there.
Yeah, she did the production design and she directed that. She directed that and helped Desi out with that as well because he also co-directed it with her. But yeah, man, like that. When I tell you Desi had us rolling like the entire time, and it was hard a lot of times to shoot the scenes with all of them in it because I'm like, these folk too funny, bruh.
Yeah, they be bringing it out. So like, I don't know, because I actually said like you worked with Desi a few different times.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how did that connect happen? Of course, it's all ATL in here.
As far as that, how did I link up with Desi? I linked up with Desi through a buddy of mine's, Patrick Walker. He had, he still has the Booking Room ATL. He created an actors for actors type acting class, and Desi was in that acting class. This was before Desi got big.
Okay.
And Patrick kept telling me about him. He was like, "Man, this dude's funny. Like, you know what I'm saying? We should definitely work with him." I was like, "Shoot, tell him to come up with an idea, and we just go from there." So he Desi ended up coming up with an idea. We ended up working with him, and we had been working with Desi like off and on throughout the years, and Desi just ended up getting bigger and bigger. And once he got this idea, he reached out. I was like, shit, appreciate you for thinking of me, bro. Yeah, I was just being real, like, shit, appreciate you for thinking of me. So he reached out. He was like, I got 3 projects I want to do. I was like, let's get it. I got you. I just appreciate you for coming back,
Man, that's dope. So basically, like, your whole thing is just making impressions on people, and then they coming back and then catching you again to do some more work.
And to be honest, that's literally how I do my marketing for what I do. Like, people find out about me through word of mouth. I don't put up no posters. I don't put out ads. All I do is post my work, and people tell other people about me, and they call me.
That's dope. That's how it's supposed to be. When you actually when you actually got some work to show people.
Yeah, you just work out there. Everything else falls into place. That's why I say that's part of circling back to getting out your own way. You got to put your work out there for people to see it so they can know whether or not to even be curious enough, curious about you to contact you and ask you to do a service for them. You'll never know if you don't put your stuff out there.
This is true. This is my problem right now. Even though my work is out, I need my own little sizzle reel when it comes to podcasts, and I ain't quite put that together, but I feel where you coming from.
Put it together.
You right about that. So I'm gonna get this conference popping, and then it's gonna be all be after that.
There you go. And stop just talking about it. Be about it.
Man, look, you might have to call me back and just check on me, make sure I'm doing it. I know how I am. But,
I'm gonna make sure. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you don't hate on nobody. You know what I'm saying? Because that will block your blessings and block all your blessings and block all your blessings. I'm serious because, like, as a creative, a lot of times people get caught up on what this person is doing and what that person is doing over there. Fuck all that. What are you doing? Focus on what you are doing and mind your own damn business. I'm telling you, if you focus on your art, everything else falls into place. period. It is a proven fact. The shit's been proven over and over and over and over and over again. Stop worrying about what the next man doing and what they doing over there. Focus on what you got going and you enjoy it. Because people can tell if you enjoy your art through your art. They can tell when you're not.
That's 1,000% true.
Like, you always got to be you.
You got to keep it real, because I know I've seen people that are definitely doing stuff just for the check.
Man, you got folks just out here hustling folk just to be hustling folk. You got folks out here just trying to get, do this shit just to get a check. I do it for the passion. Now, and because of that, because me doing it for the passion, that helped me get to the next level to now I can focus on the money now. But guess what? I never lost my passion. My passion is what got me through it. The passion is what opened the doors. The passion is what people see through my work.
Man, I see it. I'm feeling it. The way you talking to me, I feel all that passion coming through my headphones in the screen right now.
And see, and that's what it's about. It's all, and also too, like the main thing, you got to be humble. I know I've done a lot, but you ain't finna see me out here boasting and bragging about it. Why? Like, my work speaks for itself. My talent speaks for itself. Like, just like you said, I made that lasting impression on you when I met you buying that cell phone.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, you're 1,000% right. And I see some people that they just like to talk, but you don't see the work.
Man,
so
that's that young
you in the right.
Young shit.
Okay. So hold on. Matter of fact, I'm gonna come back to that. Because I got something I want to ask you about that. But let me come back. Right. But before I move on to that, is there anything you have in the pipeline that's really got you ramped up and ready to attack?
Shoot,
that you can talk about.
Man, my baby girl just wrote this dope project that we working on. We just shot the pilot this weekend. That's one thing. So I can't wait for it. I can't talk too much about it. Another thing, I just got interviewed on Fox Soul by Vivica Fox, and that was pretty cool. Yeah, that was a fun experience because I got to meet one of my favorite actors. You know what I'm saying? So that was pretty cool. Let me see. I just did a prison documentary, and that was dope. What else? I also just did a masterclass for a film festival. That was dope. I do so much, so it's like I be proud of all of my stuff because like my goal is to get better by the project. So every project I do, I try to make sure I learn something new or get better and step my game up as far as my work. So I'm actually always excited about everything that I do, honestly.
Look, that's very understandable. As somebody who has a lot of different projects, it's they all kind of get their own level of excitement because of the different things you are doing. Because you're not always doing the exact same thing on every project.
Right.
So you kind of get to like, oh, I can kind of develop this skill. And now I can kind of come over on this side and develop this skill. And then when you come back to yours, like, I think I might need to step my game up when I'm doing my thing.
And see, that's what makes me very supportive of other people's work. You know what I mean? Because I done had a hand in working on some of everybody's stuff down here in the indie film community in Atlanta. You know what I mean? So because of that, people already, they know what I can do, and they already know what it is. They know I don't play by my shit. You know what I'm saying? So, by me like being a team player, like I know how to follow. I'm not just a good leader. I know how to follow. So, you know what I'm saying? I know how to, I get on set and be somebody PA all day. I'd be a cam op all day. I'll be your BTS photographer all day if I feel like the project would be beneficial to me. You know what I'm saying? So by me helping everybody else, so when I finally take a step back and be like, okay, you know what? I'm about to work on my shit now.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying? Everything just fall into place.
I love that because that's, yeah, I'm trying to be like you when I grow up, Terry.
Oh, no, hey, being like me, let me tell you something. Being like me, you just make sure you got a good team in that because you can't do none of this without an amazing team because the team that I have, I cannot stress enough the importance of having a good team.
Well, I'm going to need my team to grow up too so we can all get on the same team and get this thing rolling because right now it's just me. I am a one-man team, but I definitely know what you mean. Cause
I started like that, so I get it, bro. Trust me. Like, it even got to that point for me where I got to that point, I was just like, man, I'm tired of doing this shit by myself. The only reason why I do it by myself is because I have to, because I can't find nobody I trust. I stopped thinking about that shit, aka getting out of my own way. My team started coming to me one by one. People I started meeting on set. The shit just happened. You know what I'm saying? It's like you really have to have an honest conversation with yourself about yourself.
Yeah,
that's why I say that. Your spirituality, your mental state is very important. It's a very important process of your creative process, man. Like, dead serious. I mean, it hurt. Real, though. Yeah, because you got to be real with yourself, and that shit hurt. Like, you really got to have a real talk with yourself, more than one. It's going to take a lot to get out your own way to really allow your creativity to truly shine through your art. You got to get, like, self-care is important. It's important.
Yeah, you really talking my language, because I'm a big mindset person. You know, I like to, you know, I don't try to disperse and put people on to a law of attraction, but I try to explain to them, like, you know, whatever you put out, that's what you're going to get back.
Man, I can't stress that shit enough.
It's just so important, like you said, just getting out your own way.
You got to, man.
Allowing those things that need to come to you. But like you said, it just starts right here in the head and your mind, and things just start developing. It's amazing how it just happens.
Also, too, you gotta allow people to be honest with you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yes,
I'm just gonna leave that right there.
Very much so. Yes, be honest. You know, don't try to pump people up just because you want to kick it for a little bit.
Oh, no, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about, like, you gotta, okay, so you know how, like, it's a difference between a hater and a critique?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you have to allow people to be honest with you about you, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. You know, I definitely get in my own way for that, but I have come around to that. So,
and see, and the first step is acknowledgement. That's what I'm talking about. See, that's all you got. You just got to acknowledge. Once you acknowledge your flaws, man, because guess what? We are all flawed. Nobody is perfect. You know, like seriously, nobody is perfect, bro. And you already know, as a fellow creative, I can't tell you how many times we fall in and out of depression. So guess what? It's normal. It's sad to say it's normal, but it's like, you got to learn how to get out your own way. You got to stop being defensive. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of different things. I don't want to turn this into a mental health conversation, but I'm just saying, man, it really goes with your creativity, like self-care, like, dead serious.
No, but I mean, it's not officially a part of the AAMA pillars, but after this conference, it's definitely going to be one of the things, because I do believe it's 3 things that'll make a marketer successful. It's technique, it's technology, and it's mindset.
Yes, indeed.
So
I agree.
Everything that you're throwing out there, it falls right in line, and I'll probably be using some of that content further down the road, because that was some good stuff. I appreciate you bringing that.
I'm just being honest.
Look, yeah, you as real as they come, Terry. Huh? You definitely as real as they come. Yeah, like I know how it is out there in the city, and it's like, yeah, you bringing all the right energy.
Man, you already know Atlanta, the city of finesse, so you know you
the capital.
Boy, the capital, bro. So you already know, it's like, if you can't be yourself, like, why do it? That's
absolutely. All right, so I want to go back to something you kind of perked my ears up to, but talking about these young folk. But really, I want to talk about the content creators.
Okay.
Of course, video is the most popping thing on the planet right now.
For sure.
It's getting everybody, you know, influencer deals, they getting marketing deals, all this different stuff. But there's a couple things happening at the same time. For one, you have people who are making like really dope content, and then you have people making, let's just say, not so dope content.
Right.
And then there's not really a lot of space to fit in between. It's just like a big pool, a big sea of just stuff. So like, what makes a video, or I hate to say social media, but I'll just say social media. What makes a social media video to you something that's quality, as somebody who does it on a much bigger scale?
Well, you gotta, when you asking someone like me that question, of course, I'm looking at the cinematography, the editing, the background. I'm looking at the composition. I'm looking at all of that when I look at somebody's video.
You breaking them down.
I'm just being honest, because once you step behind the camera and start working behind the camera, you look at everything differently. You do not look at it the same way from an audience perspective. You know what I mean? So when it comes to that stuff, like, people have to know their target audience. If you don't know what that means, then you don't need to be doing what you're doing.
Okay. So what you're saying is, from jump, is like knowing who the video is for is almost more important than the actual video itself.
Sometimes. And the only reason why I say sometimes, because you have a lot of people out here going viral for no fucking reason. And they don't think about none of that. They just put it up, and it just so happen to pop. They take off and get a check. You got some folk that been doing it for a long time. It look crappy, and they take off. They get a check. You got some folk that just started doing it. It look dope it look dope. They don't take off. They don't get no check. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a hit or a miss. But at the end of the day, like, if you're just starting out, don't think about any of that. Just create. What's meant for you is meant for you, and nobody can mess up what's meant for you.
I love that. And I definitely can think about, like, how many times I made a video and, like, I was just creating, and I kind of just, it didn't really matter what it ended up being, but I was like, okay, I'm just going to do the thing. And I just did the thing. And I didn't really care if it got likes or whatever, but I needed to just do the thing.
Right.
And then there's other times when I'm doing, like, a marketing video, and I'm thinking about, who is this for?
And see, and that's why I said sometimes, like, what I'm saying, based off of, how you asked me that question, it's like that sometimes. Because, yeah, you could just jump out there and just put stuff out there. But after a while, it gets to a certain point. If you want to get to a certain level, you have to start thinking a little bit differently. You know what I mean? You have to now start planning for what you're doing and actually start thinking about the business part of what you're doing. Just like how you just said, when you started doing a marketing video, now you got to think about your target audience and all of this and that. That's what I mean.
Okay. So that's a great point. I guess before I move off that part, is there anybody who's making some good stuff on social media that you're really a fan of? Just as, of course, there's a million different styles, but I'm sure you might be coming across some things that may be a little inventive, or even trying some stuff. Like, what do you see out there that's really, like, maybe not cutting edge, but it's like, oh, you're trying to do something different?
To be honest, because of my busy schedule lately, I'll only get on social media to post to my story.
Oh.
And, like, as far as the people I follow that, like, come down my timeline, I only follow filmmakers.
Okay.
Because that's the only kind of content that I want to see. Or, you know what I'm saying? So, like, when I get on, just like when I hop on Instagram, when I finally get a chance to get on Instagram and check my notifications, I get on there, I'm seeing BTS filmmaking, BTS of lighting. I see Desi making some crazy ass videos because I love his stuff. That's my guy. Because, like I said, I've been knowing him before he got big now. So it's like certain people, if I know you, I see you come down my timeline if you're doing something, but it has to be creative. You know what I mean? It has to be something positive, because I don't follow any negative things. So I don't see nothing negative on my news feed. So the stuff that I'm interested in, that's the only stuff that I see that's coming up on my news feed. So to be honest, like I said, I can't really answer that question, but maybe I did answer that question, because I love what Desi is doing. I can't wait to see him do bigger things.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Okay. Well, no, that's a good enough answer, but I really just wanted to take your temperature to see, if you had found anything out there, because I know me personally, I'm trying to do something different. I haven't quite figured out what it is, but I think there's some space to innovate.
So what? You may not need to do nothing different. Why don't you take a look at what you're already doing? Because sometimes we always trying to think further and out when the answer we're looking for usually is right in our face.
You got a good point. I'm gonna come back to that. See,
that's why I say you need to take a deep dive into yourself.
I'm about to say, like, now I'm gonna have to get out the car. I'm gonna have to sit back and get my own thoughts.
Just self-reflect, bro. Like, look at all your different skills and talents. Because guess what? When I first started, I thought I wanted to be a director, and I was doing that for a while until I really started getting serious about the camera. I'm like, you know what? I think I want to be a DP. And then I reached that point where I was like, you know what? I don't want to be a DP no more. I want to be a cinematographer. And I got to a point where I started meeting different people. They was like, well, a DP and a cinematographer is the same thing. Or then you got the other people on the other hand saying a DP and a cinematographer is totally different. I just said, you know what? I'm not going to get caught up in these titles. I'm just going to just do my thing and do what I like and do what I love. Fuck all that titles. I was like, DP look better because it's shorter and it look better on my website up there in my favecon. So you know what? I'm gonna stick with DP. Editor is short. I'm gonna stick with that instead of saying post production, unless depending on what kind of conversation I'm having with somebody, I'm gonna say editor or I'm gonna say post production. So you see what I mean? So it's like, don't get caught up in all of that. Just do your thing, man. Just create your art.
So you like movie code switching out here? Yeah, whatever room I'm in.
We'll talk after about that as far as, trying to figure out what you want to do. That's another conversation.
Definitely. Let me jump back into my host chair. Now, you say you only follow filmmakers on Instagram. But, like, I guess who is kind of influencing you, or who do you look up to as far as filmmaking and cinematography?
Indie or big time?
Give me both.
Let me see, because I follow a lot of folk.
Because I'm about to say
on the indie side, I follow Courtney Arlette. She's a dope writer, director, author. Who else I follow? Nina Stacks. If you don't know about her, something wrong with you. She's a writer, director, DP. She do her own stuff. She done got her a big deal, and now she doing her damn thing. Who else? I'm just scrolling down my timeline. Oh, I follow a lot of comedians. I ain't think about that. I follow Not Carlton Banks. He's funny as hell with the church stuff he be putting up. Damn Right Originals. I follow them all day because I've been working with them for a long time. Bobby Huntley, dope indie filmmaker. He's a director, editor. I think he mainly want to go by director, but he's just freaking dope. I call him like the Black Martin Scorsese. He's just fire for no reason. Let me see. Let me make sure I get his name right. My boy Aaron.
So you really out here?
A Falk Films. That's his IG. A Falk Films. His name is Aaron Faulkner. He's a award-winning, Emmy-nominated director, content creator. Like, he does a lot of commercial stuff. He's dope. Like, so I follow people like that. Like, if I met you and I worked with you before, you know what I'm saying, or I recognize you do good shit, I'll start following you because, see what you're about. Got you.
Okay. Now, I'm about to say, let's go to the major side. Anybody that, I guess, like, early on kind of influenced you or, gave you some, like, techniques? Like, whose style do you really dig when it comes to making movies?
Michael Bay. As far as camera work. Christopher Nolan.
Them two of my favorites too. I'm a big Christopher Nolan fan.
For Nolan for the DIY all day, Michael Bay for them crazy ass camera angles and shit he be doing is like, man.
Yeah, it definitely gets you off guard. What?
Ryan Coogler, dope. No. Creed, man, let me tell you.
See, I'm like, I still want to watch Creed with you just because of how you said that. Because it was like, it was a good movie. You
ain't gonna like watching it with me. I talk too much now.
Look, I didn't see the movie, so I'm like, I actually want the commentary now. Because I'm like, what do you see? You know what I'm saying? Like that. We're going to have to talk after the podcast.
You ain't watched Creed yet?
I watched it, but I haven't watched it with somebody who make movies.
Okay.
Like, that's different. See, all right.
The good thing about Creed, the one that he did, see, he implemented his own style into it, and you can actually see that visually. Like, he had a hand in writing this, like helping writing that script, and as well as he directed it as well.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So you definitely see a difference between the regular Creed that you've been seeing, you know, that you grew up on, and the one you see now that he created for the millennials. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense.
No, I got you.
You see that swag. You see his swag all throughout Creed.
See, yeah, and I could pick up on it. It's like, of course, I know he did the movie, and I could tell by the soundtrack, but you know, like I can't piece together some of those different things. But that actually be
the opening scene, bruh. Do you remember
that opening scene was pretty dope.
Now you already know you ain't gonna see like where they were. Like you're not finna. Come on, man. You sit around me and my wife watching movies. It's hilarious because while she picking apart the art department, and I'm picking apart the cinematography and the editing. And now since she done added writer up under her belt, she's picking apart the storytelling like crazy. So it's like watching a movie with us. I hope you done seen it already.
I would only do it after I'd seen it because now it's like I need to watch it with new eyes.
There you go. That's playing it safe right there. There it is.
I know me personally. I'm besides Nolan, somebody that I'm always rushing to see when they do stuff is Tarantino.
And you know what? I'm not a Tarantino fan. I'm not gonna lie.
I was about to ask you because you didn't mention him, and there's two people. There's people that really like QT, and there's people that really don't fool with QT. And
but I wanted to tell you one project that I absolutely love from him: Hateful Eight.
That one was that's the one. You absolutely right. When you're right, you're right.
That's it. Like, that's the only thing I actually love from Quentin Tarantino. I like the Django, but I love Hateful Eight because that Hateful Eight is powerful storytelling in literally one freaking location, bro, and it's straight character driven. Like you can't beat that.
You really can't. It's a work of art. It's
a work of art to the point where indie filmmakers should study pieces like that take place in one locations to understand why you have to make sure your characters have a damn good background story to know how to like deliver and keep your attention for an entire. What that movie was like? What 3-4 damn hours?
That shit was long? 3 hours. The extended cut is 3 hours, yo, and I don't get tired of watching that movie.
It took place inside of a cabin, outside the cabin, and on the way to the cabin. That's
it. That is a sick flex, and I love that movie to death. My girl, she kind of like get drove because I be wanting to just like throw it on when she ain't watching nothing. I was like, why you just watching this? I'm like, look, I just got to get to the part where he laying in the bed. Like
I can't with you, baby. I just got to get to this part. Just hit me. You got to trust me, baby. Just have faith, baby.
Oh man, that's funny you said that because that is definitely my one. I don't want to go into like my top 5, but I definitely fool with that one, Django, and of course like Pulp Fiction. Just because like I know at least with Pulp Fiction, that was the first time for me. Like of course I watched it like 10 years after it came out, but I had no idea you could tell a story like that.
Yeah.
Like that's what really gets my head blown off about QT. It's like I didn't know you could just say, I'm going to start where I'm going to start, and you just walk with me to the end.
And see, that's all about having fun at what you do and having confidence and that much faith in yourself to know that you can pull some shit like that off.
Yeah.
AKA getting out your own way.
Oh, man. So you bringing it back full circle.
You damn right.
And that's a good segue because if we were going to tie a bow on this interview, that would definitely be the title, if not the subtitle of it. Get out your own way.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to have to put that on this episode title.
Yeah, because you know what I'm saying? You ain't got to overcomplicate things, man. I spent years doing that. I know what that feel like. Don't overcomplicate the shit. Just have fun at what you do, man, and just keep going. Everything else fall into place.
Absolutely. Tery, it has very much been a pleasure. I appreciate your time.
Likewise. I thank you for having me.
And no problem. And I want you to go ahead and let them know how to get in touch with you.
You can get in touch with me by visiting my website. That's terywilson.com. And that is Terry spelled with one R. I'll be screwing up my name. TERY Wilson.com. And that's how you can pretty much find out all about me, links to, my social media and all of that. Just go to my website.
Terry, thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate everybody out there for listening and watching. This is Marketing for the Culture. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to Marketing for the Culture podcast. If you haven't already, please subscribe, whether it's on Apple, Google, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform. And of course, our videos are on YouTube. If you have a moment, feel free to give us a rate, review, or just comment. We appreciate our sponsors for their continuous support. Also, if you're interested in learning more about our sponsors or becoming a member of the African American Marketing Association, visit aa-ma.org.